loss of so many lives.
Looking back on this individual, this suspect, John, there were plenty of warning signs out there that could have resulted potentially, if the law would have allowed it, for him not to necessarily get an assault weapon.
Well, in all likelihood, he had those weapons before. Here's an individual who had never really had a run-in for the law. He had no criminal background. He had a drunk driving arrest back in 2007, but other than that, a good citizen and a citizen soldier in the Army Reserves for 20 years, an excellent marksman, a hunter, a fisherman, somebody who enjoyed the country up there in Maine. But this summer, he had a mental health episode. That's where he said he heard voices when he was at Camp Smith in New York State at a training exercise. It's where he said he was having feelings about hurting other soldiers, and he got that command referral to a military medical facility where they did 2 weeks of observation and treatment, and decided that he was okay to go and continue treatment outside. Now, that's where we lose track of him, except we know this. He had that crisis over the summer. He then lost a job. He then lost his girlfriend. And we have learned by following the case and talking to people involved in the investigation and those briefed on it that the places he went to shoot last night, the bowling alley, was a place he often went with his girlfriend when they were together. The bar, Shemengi's, was a place where we are told she was expected to be in a game tournament that night at the bar, which was employees' night, where they get a 25% discount if they work in bars and restaurants. So they gather a crowd on that Wednesday night. These were the places that he targeted. So it is possible that with the crisis he had over the summer, the loss of the job, the loss of that relationship, that those were the three stressors that pushed him over an edge. The difference is he's a highly trained and excellent marksman who is now on the run. What we just saw there at that address where they're executing the search warrant, where my good colleague Brian Todd was this is a place that had connections to him. He had actually registered a jet ski at that address not that long ago. Neighbors say they hadn't seen him around. But when the FBI is going to do an entry where he may be inside, where they haven't seen him come out, they've had it under surveillance, they're going to go in and what they call a dynamic entry. Flashbangs that make those loud noises, announce FBI that they're coming in, do the kinds of things that would disorient the subject so they're not facing a guy who may still have an AR-15 rifle and a lot of ammunition. So they're executing that search warrant. They're looking for notes, computers, him, any other evidence they can find that can give them a lead to where he is.
Good point. You know, John, I want you to stand by. We're going to get back to you, get back to our other analysts in just a few moments. But I want to bring in right now Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. He's been outspoken on the issue of guns in America. Let me get your reaction first of all, Senator. Thank you so much for joining us through this awful, awful tragedy in Maine. The U.S. has